Everyone, it's Brian Porter. Welcome to our next video. We're going to be talking about a great mod for your Strat or any other guitar. Specifically today we're going to be focusing on the Strat, but this is the Add Neck mod. We're going to do that with a mini toggle switch. You'll be able to see this up close on the Strat that we're featuring here as one of our HSS Deluxe loaded pickguards. This mod is included on those pickguards, but I'm going to show you how to wire it. I'm going to show you how it sounds and also an alternate way that you can do it. Let's jump right into what this mini toggle needs to be. If you look at mini toggles online, you need to make sure you have an on-on switch. So it needs to say, it usually says on/on the description. Make sure it's an on-on mini toggle. And I'll show up close how you might want to do this with a push-pull pot, which is also another option. The advantage to a push-pull pot with this wiring is that you can keep your Strat looking the same as opposed to drilling a 1/4-inch hole for the mini toggle. We placed our mini toggle between the two tone knobs because we like the position there for kind of being out of the way of the selector switch and the volume knob, and down there where you can just add in that switch whenever you're ready to. The big feature and the benefits of the mini toggle and the add neck switch, whether it's push-pull or mini toggle, you can get these combinations that you don't normally get on a guitar. So on this one we have a 5-way selector switch. When we're on the bridge position, if we flip that switch, we'll add the neck pickup in. So normally on a Strat you don't have that option. Now with our deluxe loaded pickguard, we have a coil split wired to the push-pull, which allows us to get half the humbucker and the neck when we add the add neck mini toggle switch. So there's a lot going on the deluxe loaded pickguard. I just want to isolate the add neck feature. I'll show a little screenshot of how you would wire it. It's very simple, just 2 wires from the switch. And then I'm going to show you a little up close comparison and contrast between the push-pull and the mini toggle before we get started with some stuff. All right, so here's a little closer look at the push-pull and the on-on mini toggle. One thing you're going to want to make sure is that if you want the push-pull to be the featured one, if you're going to replace, say, your volume pot or your tone pot, you're going to treat this like you're mirroring these two right next to each other. I'll get that to where it can focus. Treat it exactly like that. So if you're going to run wires out of the bottom two, you're going to repeat that process here on the push-pull. One of the nice things about the mini toggle is that if you like it to be up and on or down and on, you can kind of just spin it around when you mount it in the pickguard. This is going to require about a 1/4-inch hole. These are really cheap on eBay, probably Amazon, anywhere you want to find them. Again, just the on mini toggle. Oftentimes it will actually say on the casing here. I don't know if you can see that. Just make sure you grab the on. So again, back to the push-pull pot, say you want your volume knob to be your add neck switch. Everything down here would be wired exactly as you would see on a diagram. That would go to your selector switch. That would go to ground. The middle would go to the output to the jack. And then you would wire the add neck up here. So that way when you pull it, you've got that add neck feature. Push it down, it's off and functions like a regular Strat. It's a really cool mod that you can do with not a lot of cost or time. Really opens up the sound of your Strat. I really like it in the HSS configuration, but you can also do this in a 3 single coil configuration or even an HSH type configuration. So that is a look at the difference. I just wanted to make sure I highlighted that because, again, my personal preference is probably the mini toggle because I like the action of being able to just pop it over. But you can do this if you just can't bear changing the look of your guitar, drilling into that pickguard. Go with the push-pull pot. That's another way to do it. But again, on the push-pulls, I really recommend that you think of the upper portion and lower portion as a separate unit. So think of this as completely non-existent. If you're going to add the neck, you need to treat it as one side of this. Obviously, we don't need both sides on here. So that's just a way to kind of think of it more simply and kind of isolate each parts of your modification and your wiring just to make sure that you're doing it well and you're thinking correctly about how you want to hook it up. The last thing you want to do is mess anything up. So I also recommend, as you go with either of these methods, pre-wiring both the lugs on here and on here if you're going to do that. Just making sure it's ready to go, ready to install. You're able to just like drop in a couple wires and your modification is ready. One beautiful thing about this is if you want to wire the switch up before you drill a hole, you can open up your pickguard, you can hook your wires to your switch and run them out to your pot, or excuse me, to your mini toggle, and test the function as it's outside of the guitar. Before you drill a hole, see what you think of it. Even if it's just kind of hanging out of the side of the guitar, that's totally fine. These are small enough to not really cause a lot of damage. So I will show you as a tap test function how this works on the loaded pickguards that we have. Alright, so just a quick function example test. If you want to test this ahead of time when you're working on this mod by yourself, you can see kind of where we have the mini toggle here. Let me show you how it works and how we have it set up here. So we're on the bridge position. I've just got this plugged into the amp, so obviously we have signal here. Tap on this with a nice metal screwdriver. Right now, the neck pickup is not engaged. I have this set to where I push down, and then I have the neck and the bridge on at the same time. So you can hear the tap test there with the screwdriver. So leaving the mini toggle on here, which is keeping the add neck engaged, we'll put this into the normal position where you just have the middle and the bridge humbucker, and then you'll see that we have all three pickups on. So again, sonically that gives you a couple different really cool options, and then once I turn that off, it's just these two pickups. Now the neck is removed again from the circuit. So I love the mod, I love the location, again like I mentioned before in the video, love having it here. If you wanted to put it on a push pull, that's great. Currently this one is set up with a push pull to split the bridge humbucker, so we could obviously maybe add it to the tone knob, but it's getting really complicated already. I like to keep it somewhat simple, but I like to have obviously a lot of different options to choose from as you're modding. Okay, so that was a quick sound sample test of what it does to add to your signal. I find that adding the neck just kind of increases some of the low end. It's not a massive difference in the case of what we have on this particular guitar. You may find it's very subtle, but you can also dial in a little bit of like kind of nuanced sounds, almost like acoustic-y sounds when you have all three pickups on. Just creates a different translation point for all three pickups or neck and bridge pickups on a Strat, something that you just sonically haven't really experienced if you haven't tried this mod. So I really like this one. It's a really easy mod to do. If you have questions or comments about the mod, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Porter Pickups here on YouTube. Thanks for your support.